Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, back with another black and white Pokemon analysis. Today, we're going to be discussing the Victory Pokemon known as Victini. So let's get started by taking a look at its typing, abilities, and stats. So first off, Victini is a combination of Psychic and Fire for its typing, which is really unique, and it's pretty much the only Pokemon that gets it, unless you want to count Hihidaruma when it's in its Daruma mode. But other than that, this is the only Pokemon that gets that kind of typing, so that makes it pretty interesting. And you resist with this typing Fire, Grass, Ice, Fighting, Psychic, and Steel, but you are weak to Dark, Ghost, Ground, Rock, and Water. So it's really a combination of some good defenses as well as some unfortunate weaknesses, especially the one to rock, because that means you will be taking damage from stealth rocks every time you switch in, or increase damage. I think it's 25% of your health. So that is quite unfortunate, but this Pokemon is still pretty good despite that. As for its ability, it is known as Victory Star, and since this is the Victory Pokemon and it has a Vic in its name as well, it seemed quite appropriate that that would be the name of the ability. But what this ability does is it gives Victini as well as any other or any of your teammates that are out in the field a 10% increase in their accuracy. Now, as I said out on the field because a lot of people think that when you have this Pokemon on your team, that automatically means that everybody on your team gets a 10% accuracy boost, but it actually doesn't. It only applies in teams or it only applies in doubles or triples or whatever that the accuracy boost is given to your own other party members. But other than that, Victini has a pretty good accuracy boost to start off with no matter what. So it's definitely useful and will allow you to make use of some of its more powerful moves because of the increased accuracy. As for its stats, it's pretty much 100 in every single category, and generally there is one Pokemon, a legendary, that has these kinds of stats every generation. I think in the previous one it was Manaphy, then Jirachi, Celebi, and Mew. But it's obviously good stat spread despite it being fairly basic. It doesn't do anything particularly well. It doesn't fail at anything either. So it definitely has a lot of different uses and can be very versatile in what it's able to do. But with that, let's take a look at a couple of set ideas that this Pokemon could potentially make use of. So for this first set, we have quite an interesting defensive set for Victini. So first we're going to give it a calm nature to increase its special defense but lower its physical attack. And then we're going to be using its ability Victory Star because it is the only ability this Pokemon gets. As for the EVs though, we're going to put 252 into HP to give you max HP, 4 for defense for 1 point into that, and then 252 EVs into your special defense to give you your max special defense. So this gives you some really good bulk, especially in the special area, meaning that you can take a lot of hits from the special side. As for the item though, we're going to be using leftovers as a way to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn. The first move in the set though is going to be known as Will-O-Wisp. Obviously you should know that already, but the reason why we're using this is because since we are max specially defensive bulky, Will-O-Wisp will be the move to use to give us some theoretical physical defense because we're going to be lowering your opponent's physical attack. And this works great, especially because this Pokemon has just naturally high stats in every area because of the 100 base stat for everything. So you can definitely take a hit from the physical side after a Will-O-Wisp, no problem, and also from the special side because of the EVs into that stat. And what's great is because Will-O-Wisp has quite the unreliable accuracy, and because you have Victory Star, it will actually boost the accuracy of Will-O-Wisp. So you definitely have a more reliable Will-O-Wisp to use than other Pokemon that might be packing it. As for your next move though, you have U-Turn just to get out of a situation you don't want to be into. And it can prove very useful, but again, as I said before, this Pokemon does take quite a bit of damage from Stealth Rocks, so it is kind of a skeptical move to use if your opponent is using them, but by all means use it if you have some kind of spinner or something, but just be aware that you'll be taking a lot of damage. And it is quite unfortunate that Victini doesn't learn any recovery moves, which is very bad, I guess, because of the fact that it is wrecked by Stealth Rocks. So maybe if they gave it Wish or something like that, that would have been very beneficial, but they didn't. But up next we have Fire Blast as your main attacking move of this set, And again, because of Victory Star, it will have some pretty good accuracy, so you can definitely rely on it to hit. And also, it gets stabbed and it's ridiculously powerful, so you can't really go wrong there. As for its last move, though, you could either use Protect or Light Screen. Protect is there to stall out burn turns and also get lefties recovery when you need to, but Light Screen could also be used as a way to boost the special defense of your entire party. And with Will-O-Wisp and Light Screen working in combination with one another, chances are whatever Pokemon is facing you won't be able to do a lot of damage if you have these two together if you're using Light Screen over Protect. But it's a really cool kind of defensive set that can really benefit your team because of the fact that it can cripple any physical attackers and also put up a screen to cripple any special attackers as well. And then you can just U-turn out into an appropriate counter or something like that. So it's definitely a very useful defensive set this Pokemon can make use of. Up next, we have kind of a gimmicky set for Victini, but you'll see what I mean in a second. But we're going to give it a Tib of Nature this time to increase its speed but lower its physical attack, use the ability Victory Star, and then for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into HP, 4 for special attack, and then 252 into speed to give you your max HP and your max speed. As for the item, we are going to be using a Choice Scarf to give us a nice speed increase and also lock us into one move, but that won't really be a problem, and I'll explain why right now. Basically, we're going to be centralizing this set around the move known as Life Gamble, which is a new move that does the amount of damage to your opponent equal to that of your current HP. So since this Pokemon gets 404 HP and Life Gamble, it is actually the best Life Gamble user in the game because it has the highest HP out of all of them. But basically it's just a move to use to take out something that is going to threaten your team, and since you have a Choice Scarf, you probably will be faster than what you're up against unless that also is scarfed. But that is pretty much the strategy behind that. Otherwise, you can use U-turn to switch out because it's always a useful scouting move to use, and then we can use Blaze Judgment, which is Victini's special move or signature move, and it has 100 base power with a 30% chance to burn. So it's a pretty cool move. I've also seen it written as Ball of Flame. It depends on which translation you're using, but I think Blaze Judgment sounds significantly cooler. And then lastly, we're going to be using Focus Blast because it just gives you some good type coverage, and it also gets a nice accuracy boost because of Victory Star. But this set is basically just meant to scout and take something out. So the last two moves in the set, Blaze Judgment and Focus Blast, are kind of just there as filler. They could be pretty much anything you want them to be, so just be aware of that. But an important aspect of using this set is to have a Rapid Spinner on your team unless you're leading with Victini, because Stealth Rocks and Spikes will take away your HP, meaning that Life Gamble will do less damage. So just be aware of that as you're using the set. Lastly, we have a pure special attacking set that I came up with for Victini. So first we're going to give it a Tib of Nature to increase its speed but lower its physical attack, use the ability Victory Star, and then for the EVs we're going to put 4 into HP, 252 into special attack, and then 252 into speed to give you your max speed and your highest special attack you can get with a Tib of Nature. As to the item, you could either use Leftovers or Life Orb. Leftovers is there to obviously recover HP and benefit you because of the fact that you are taking damage from Stealth Rocks and things like that, or in most scenarios. But Life Orb could also be there to allow you to do more damage to your opponents, but I am a little bit skeptical to use it since every time you switch this Pokemon in, you lose 25% of your health if Stealth Rocks are up. So it's really up to you which one you want to use. Lumberry is also a viable option as well. That's why it's there. But the first two are kind of like, I guess, the ideal ones to use in my opinion, but whatever. But as for the moves, the first one we're going to be using is known as Nitro Charge or Cheer Up, depending, on your preferences. Nitro Charge is there to just give you a speed boost since every time you use it, it increases your speed by 1 stage, whereas Cheer Up would be there to increase your special attack and also your physical attack, even though you're not even using physical attacking moves on this set. But it's basically whichever one you want, increased special attack or increased speed. So take your pick. But with that, we're going to be using a combination of Thunder, Fire Blast, and Focus Blast as your main attacking moves. And because of Victory Star, the amount of damage you'll be doing with all of these moves is increased. or sorry, not the accuracy of all of these moves is increased. What was I thinking? But that's great because both of these, or all three of these moves, aren't known for having, amazing accuracy. But because of Victory Star, they're more usable, and obviously they're more powerful moves of their type because they just are. I still don't understand why all Psychic type Pokemon can learn electric moves. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm not going to get into that now. But basically, a combination of electric, fire, and fighting gives you some really good type coverage and some very powerful moves to work with. But that is it for Victini, and with that, that also means that is it for my analysis of the new Pokemon. So thank you everybody that has been watching this channel from the beginning. It's been a very long run, and I honestly did not think I would get done this fast, but I did, and it's been a lot of fun making the sets. I know I kind of skipped out a little bit with the legendary Pokemon, or like the dragons that I just put up, but honestly I didn't want to think too much about them since I assume that they're going to be Uber at some point. But the rest of the Pokemon I had a blast making. They're very interesting, and I hope you guys are as excited for Black and White as I am, because I just want to pretty much get a Nintendo DS just to play that game. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But if any of you are curious as to what I am doing now or after this is up, basically I'm going to post one video just to be the channel video to describe, what the channel is going to be about, or what this channel is about, and, put like a link to the playlist of all these Pokemon that I analyzed and things like that, just to like show anybody who's new to this channel what's up. But after that video, which will probably go up in the next couple days, I'm going to be starting to do some videos on older Pokemon that get some new things to play around with in this new generation because of whether or not they're like new moves that the Pokemon can make use of, or new abilities that the Pokemon can make use of that they get in the Dream World. So it's going to be a really creative channel, I think, and definitely something that I'm going to enjoy making sets for a lot. So I'm really excited, and I hope you guys are too. But thank you all again for, watching all these videos. I know it's not the most exciting thing in the world to hear people talk for, 10 minutes a time and you just look at a screen with words on it. But yeah, thank you a lot. But that is it. So take care, guys, and goodbye.